Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Arknights reaction. Today we have Vows of the Sea. This is one that a lot of people have been, of course, asking me to get to and had the highest like ratio on the last Arknights song. So I'm like, sure, I knew this one came out. I saw it in my recommendeds back when it was released, and I had just other songs I had to get to first. So I guess we'll just see what this song has in store. I know it's going to be sea themed. That's pretty obvious. So without further ado, let's go. Ooh, the creaking ship sounds, already going for the atmosphere. Love the boat horn too. Just a lot of atmosphere. Love that.
Torn from our souls, we brave any weather, we never surrender. Oh, in her name we sing.
Oh, this could be an interesting discussion for this song.
Can you feel the might of the wind at our backs? We're coming.
All right.
All the ones who dare try to stand in our path become a thing of the past. Do you hear the
great phrasing?
The men all aboard.
Nailing that sailor, like, not just the tempo, but like the actual rhythm of the vocals.
We made long ago. Oh, they couldn't ever be torn from our souls. We brave any weather.
This is definitely going to lead to an interesting conversation. I've seen a lot of comments on this one, and I want to talk about it. But this is more surprising than I thought.
With the story or two of the storms we endured for, can we keep fighting for? As our days grow old, fewer sailors
still throwing in those elements of like that, like Doppler ping, just by using a piano.
On the way, who gave their lives in her name.
Just subtle enough, very tasteful.
We made long ago. Oh, they couldn't ever.
Ooh, with the people disappearing too. Story time. So good. The shifting. You can take that as like bags of grain on a ship or waves. That's, oh.
We brave any weather. We never surrender. Oh, in her name we sing.
Sick note to land on too. Dude, all right. Love the render here too of that anchor. That's so good. All right, so like I said, interesting conversation we're gonna have about this song. So when I first saw comments on this song and like about this song, there were a lot of comments calling this a shanty. And allow me to get a little bit pedantic with the semantics on that. This is not a shanty technically. However, despite being what is more classified as a sea song, this has a lot of qualities that I might forgive somebody calling it a shanty, purely because the difference there is that sea shanties specifically are usually completely rhythmic, designed to carry time while on ships and on boats for sailors in order to not get off time with each other. When pulling ropes and such, you need something to keep consistent, you know, so like that's why they were made. They've got a certain timbre to them. They've got a very specific rhythm to them. This has that, but it also has an instrumental, albeit it's mostly atmospheric and less melodic. I think this could work as a shanty. It's just like you'd have to remove all the instrumentalization underneath it, which is perfectly fine because the lyrics, again, kind of fit more in the sea shanty style because they're kind of a crew song style of lyric. It's talking about the crew and the we as a whole, but they could also work as a sea song because sea songs tend to be a little bit more of like a storytelling in order to entertain, usually written for leisure rather than work, you know, like there's stories recollecting events that happened or like funny stories that happened. There's not really any call and response, which is a huge thing for shanties because that's how you would keep time. The rest of the crew would follow one or a few lead people who would be setting that time. This doesn't do that, and that's again why it kind of feels more like this is just a blend, really. This is really why I was saying the semantics of this are kind of iffy because the waters got muddied, no pun intended, around the time like sea shanties got big on TikTok, and not a lot of people understood that difference, and that's fine. But this song is really neat. It keeps it very minimal. It keeps it completely rhythmic while still more skewing to the sea shanty side just because of the whole vibe, despite being a sea song. I can see why this one was called a shanty, even despite the general confusion and the difference between the two. This whole song was definitely written in a very popular key for those because it's just an easy key for a lower male voice to hit, and that was obviously the majority of sailors. So most, even if you were a tenor, could reach down to these notes. I could reach these notes pretty easily, but I could also go much higher, and that's kind of the benefit. They had to be accessible. So this song works really well for that. It's just a very neutral range of notes for a guy. But obviously I think the shining factor of this song is the sound design. There were so many little things in there. I loved that waves one. I said that it could have been like bags of grain sliding across the ship too, as it like keels to either side, and like that's totally likely, but I love that it could be either or. There's other ones that are way more obvious, like the Doppler sound, and that's like obviously you wouldn't have a Doppler on a like sailing ship. In general, you just want to hit the tone despite it maybe not being historically accurate, because at the end of the day, this is just a character song for a video game. You don't have to be that pedantic about every little detail. But I just wanted to talk about the difference between shanties and sea songs and why they're different. So people might take something away from this as a learning experience. If you didn't know the difference, now you do. It's just a really neat song. I think that they hit that perfect middle ground better than most songs I've heard try to do the same thing. Some people will take shanties and like try to rewrite them into being sea songs and vice versa, and it just never really feels right because it feels like there's too much or too little because the original is not made for the purpose that they're trying to write it for, so it just feels wrong. But if I had to make a real quick guess as to what this song might have been used for if it was a shanty, I'm going to say it probably would have been a like rope pulling song, because this is a lot slower. It's got way more of a drag to it. So it's the type of thing where you'd just be like, you know, the heave ho motion you'd be doing. You want to have something slow where everyone's able to kind of like get themselves locked down and like grab the next set of rope as they pull and just have this very heavy rhythmic thing going on. So you don't, you know, fall behind or have that one slow guy on the team mess up the entire line. Usually there could be tens of people on one singular rope line. Those things were thick and had hundreds of pounds on them, if not more. Of course, you need a lot of strength to do so, and being able to ground yourself before you pull was very important. I think the other neat part to talk about was that it was sung by Cole McGuinness, and I love that they got him. It's written by Robert Wolfe, did an amazing job, as I had already talked about plenty. Lyrics by David Lynn, brilliant as always, just really nailing that sound and that world. Just, it makes so much sense that Robert wrote this too. He's always been amazing with atmosphere, and this is no different. It's just, I've already talked about it already, but I wanted to say who did it so everyone can know, because it all makes sense once you know. But I'll leave that as the final thought. So thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, leave a request down below for what I should get to next. I know there's a lot of Arknights ones that are coming out recently, as well as other games too. I don't know what it is with like right now in the summer, but everyone's releasing songs. So if you have something, drop it down below and I'll do my best to get to it. And otherwise, of course, if you like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more, you know how to do all that. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!